Welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. This podcast is dedicated to EAS employees of the U.S. Postal Service and members of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. So, pour yourself a cup of coffee and join us for today's episode. And now, here's your host, Robert Wakefield.
Good morning, Branch 32, and good morning, Naps family, wherever you are listening. It is so good to have you here on this Saturday Cup of Joe podcast presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. I am your host. That's right, your host, Robert Wakefield, president of Branch 32. Yes, indeedy. All right. Looking forward to today's show. We have another special guest with us, so you go ahead and pour that first cup. This summer, cool off with a little something sweet from your friends at the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. From June through August, just stop by the credit union and enjoy free ice cream. Oh my goodness, if Brian Wagner lived in Tennessee. It's our way of saying thank you for being a part of our postal family. And while you're here, let us help you make your money work a little easier with honest service, great rates, and people who know you by name. The Nashville Post Office Credit Union, people helping people since 1925. And for our first cup this morning, it is now time for another fabulous edition of Caffeine and Candidates. That's right. Saturday Cup of Joe podcast is interviewing people who are running for office to lead our organization, and I couldn't be more thrilled to have a person that's been on this show many, many times. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brian Wagner. Brian, how are you?
Robert, I'm doing well. And again, thank you for inviting me on the best, world's best podcast in our hearts.
In our hearts.
In our world. Yeah, yes, I always enjoy coming on. It's always a blast.
It is so good to have you on, Brian. And this is an important one because you are running for national president again, which I think is fabulous. Good for you. The question when I got your first mailing, okay, and I said, is this a misprint? Is he really running again? So my first question is, why do you want to be president again?
I thought the most burning question was, what is the ice cream flavor of the day?
That's the second one. Yeah, that's the second one.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Robert, I've always had passion for NAPS, my commitment to the organization. And yes, I was honored to be the NAPS president twice, elected in 16 and 18. I am seeking a third term. Mm-hmm. And people have asked me that question. Why are you coming back? And I said, well, first of all, I never left.
That's true.
I've always been active in NAPS. I didn't step away. I stepped in a different direction to support my family at the time.
Right.
But also support NAPS. So as immediate past national president, I've been very active helping members with calls, providing support, coaching, mentoring. You've called me a couple of times and we talked,
Absolutely.
Doing EAS career training, advocacy training. I do that Zoom in the training and membership recruitment. Mm-hmm. But, Robert, here's the thing. Since I've been the past national president, I've been going around the conventions on my own at times and doing training. And there's a burning question of people saying, Brian, would you ever return to NAPS headquarters as president? And I always said, look, if the timing was right and the members wanted me, I would.
Right.
Well, the timing is right. With Ivan announcing his not running for re-election, his retirement, that timing is right for me. If Ivan wasn't retiring, I would not be putting my name in the hat to be president again.
Gotcha.
But I have had members ask me, well, the timing is right, and the members want me. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, I believe the members want me because they're pleased and satisfied with how I led NAPS for 2 terms.
Right.
I look at this. My leadership style is timeless. Mm-hmm. Whatever was relevant in 16 to 21 is relevant today, tomorrow, and well into the future. Right. And again, after Ivan announced his retirement, his non-running for reelection. I'm going to be honest with you, Robert. My phone, emails, texts are blowing up.
Oh, did they really?
Oh, yeah. From board members, former board members, officers, members saying, are you coming back? We'd love to have you back.
Wow.
So I want to say basically back by popular demand. In full support of my family, I'm returning as for a third term as national president. I still feel I have a lot to give the organization, a lot of ideas, the strength and the support our members. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure we fight for fair pay and advocacy for our members, and definitely want to make sure we grow and protect, the membership and our investments. Right. So there's a lot of things. Because I'll tell you, Robert, I've talked to members from California to New York and everywhere in between. Mm-hmm. And I guess you could say this is a new chapter in my life, but I want to write a new chapter in NAP's history by coming back as a third term president. But our members, I could write a book about the members, what they've been telling me.
Oh, wow.
They have greater responsibility and more operational pressure, higher expectations, heavier workloads. They're working with fewer resources, less staff, some in very toxic environment at the workplace, poor treatment, lack of dignity and respect, and really for no additional compensation at times. So what I believe is that our members deserve practical tools, transparency, and leadership and leaders that listen to members in the workplace issues. Again, right. I'm that leader.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. So one of the things I did want to ask you, Brian, is that if you are elected as president of NAPS once again, if you were to boil it down to the low gravy, what is the one issue that you see on the next 2 years is the biggest obstacle or the biggest maybe hurdle that NAPS is facing?
Well, that question was actually asked in New England Convention. And my thing is the biggest thing for our members is their treatment, the lack of dignity and respect, the workplace. Because if people don't feel comfortable that NAPS is going to step up and fight for them, represent them, they don't want to join our association. But and I always put it to this, what I believe that's important, somebody else may believe something else is important. Of course, fair pay. Oh, yeah. Making sure that they have a chance to get promoted. So I can tell you, these are the things I'm looking at doing is strengthening and supporting our NAPS members through, again, timely communication. We need to build and rebuild on the NAPS relationships with the post office.
Sure.
Now, we heard about the training. NAPS has put out the new, what they call NAPS Training Academy that was just announced. But one of the things, going back in 2015, I did 3 hours of secretary-treasurer training at LTS. Mm-hmm. I started Zoom into training in 2024. I have 30 classes that I do. So I'm all for training, but I want to make sure this NAPS Training Academy that NAPS is trying to get off the ground now, that it's just not for career development. That's important, but mentorship program.
Exactly.
How EAS know how to do an interview. I mean, you can have a great KSA and walk on water, but if you can't articulate that in an interview process, you may not get the job. And that goes for also branch officer training and advocacy. Maybe someone doesn't, they like where they're at, but they want to do more for NAPS. Right. So that's one of the big key things I want to look at. Okay. And of course, fighting for fair pay. I mean, I can tell you, I'm experienced 3 paid consultations, 2 fact findings. I helped lead NAPS in the lawsuit against the post office for the 16 to 19 pay package. And again, people say we're getting better pay raises in the last 5 years than we did before. Mm-hmm. Well, of course, that's why we filed the lawsuit. Exactly. Because we weren't getting it. But I will tell you this, Robert, we have to do better. Why? Because yes, it's been reported the last 5 years, members received like a 21.7% pay increase. Wow. That's great. But that included 3% PMG DeJoy gave the members as part of or EAS as part of the inflation issue. Mm-hmm. So it was really only an 18.7. That's still not bad. No. But guess what? But cost of living over that same time was 23.1%. Right. We need to do better. So I'm looking at in a pay package is what I call maybe an economic adjustment payout, an EAP, where the average payout was, in this case, 21.7, but inflation was 23.1. Those members, half the members and below, received less, so they should maybe get an economic payout, at least get them up with inflation.
Oh, sure.
So something, I'm not saying an increase in their actual salary, but maybe a lump sum. And it is tough because the post office is losing billions of dollars. But that's something we need to address for the members who aren't getting enough to cover the rate of inflation.
Exactly.
So, I want to make sure that we still promote our legislative advocacy. I'm going to be honest with you, we need to get SPAC back on track. I've noticed from 22 to 25 over the past few years, our ultimate donors are down by 26%. That's $1,000 or more. And our VP Elite of 750 is down by 83%. We need to make sure we have enough, support in our legislation to get bills passed.
Exactly.
The MSPB rights, the Supervisor Manager and Postmaster's Fairness Act. Mm-hmm. I know members say, hey, the lawsuit's taking so long. But so are these bills are going on just as long as the lawsuit. We need to get Congress to act and start pushing their buttons, pushing the envelope, as they say, to get them to vote on these bills and get them passed.
Exactly.
They can't be lingering either.
Exactly right.
So
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Well, one of the things is I always like to look for some innovative ways to maybe increase for SPAC, because I was the Ann Connors SPAC inductee Hall of Fame in 2024. Do a promotion for 2028, which is going to be 120 years of NAPS. $120 donation for 120 years of NAPS, and do like a coin or something nice, just something to recognize $1 a year for every year that NAPS has been in existence.
I like that.
That's just something very simple, $1 a year. And that gets us back on track with our SPAC, plus make sure our legislative is strong. And I'm definitely want to work with our executive VP, Jimmy Warden, on that, since he'll be handling the legislative issues.
Right, exactly right. Well, I tell you what, Brian, it's amazing to see that you're exactly right. You've never left NAPS, really. You retired from being the president, but being the immediate past president, we've seen you very active at all the conventions. We see you active. You write an article for the Postal Supervisor every month. You were instrumental in making the decision, you and the executive board, to file the lawsuit. And then to me, and I wanted to ask you this, to me, when we had to ask you to stay an extra year because of COVID, how difficult was that year?
I was going to bring that up because when it came time, I was going to leave in 20, but we had to extend a year because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And I called Carol, because again, I was supporting my family in NAPS, but I wanted to make sure I was there for my family. And I told Carol, I said, in order for me to come home, I have to resign as president. And she goes, you can't resign. You made a commitment to that organization and the members. And we worked it out, and I stayed the extra year. Yes, leaders stay. They don't leave. And again, I was very proud of the work we did to get our members through that COVID and make sure that everybody was as best they could. There was a lot of challenges at that time. But I tell members, I tell members, if you like my presidency from 2016 to 21, it will only get better. Because one other thing I want to touch on, Robert, before we run out of time, is another thing is growing membership and securing our finances. Mm-hmm. One of the things I want to focus on, and I've had it in my mind, and I started it when I was president and worked on it as Secretary Treasurer, a 5 to 10 year business plan for NAPS. Our business plan is every 2 years at election time.
Exactly.
I want to make sure we do have an executive board budget committee. I want to start doing a 2-year budget plan so we can address expenses and set asides. Okay. So, and then a long-term plan on 5 to 10 years on where NAPS needs to be with membership. Mm-hmm. I've recruited over 1,070 members in the last 2.5 years.
It's so good. That is so crazy.
Yeah. Robert, my commitment to NAPS, that generates $208,000 a year in per capita at NAPS headquarters and over $1 million in 5 years.
Exactly.
I'm all for membership promotion because I've been doing it. I want to get back to the NAPS national headquarters national mailing, but we also have to make sure we grow our investments. I will tell you, our investments was at $14.3 million when I left the presidency in August of 21. Mm-hmm. It's at $8 million right now. And we've had some challenges.
We have.
The building is in some financial distress. It's not making money. It was an asset. Now we need to figure out how we're going to get back on track with the building because it's costs in our organization. They've got some new tenants coming in, but I will tell you, it's been averaging $500,000 a year just to keep the building. A building
Wow.
we own is actually costing us.
Yeah.
So it's an asset. I know people think it's an heirloom, but if we can get that back on track, along with increasing membership and our investments, one of the things I like to get back to members is what I call, you've heard of profit sharing and dividends,
Sure.
member sharing. You know, where if NAPS is doing well, we give back to the members of their per capita or their dues by so much dollars per member. This was something the board would have to be, it'd be part of my 5 to 10 year plan. And here's the thing. If the branches increase their membership, they have an opportunity to get money back.
Exactly.
Now, again, this isn't something where, you know, we got to make sure we're solid. And we could have $20 million in the bank. At one time, we had $14 million. But what are we doing with the money? We would need to make sure it's the members' money. Because I look at NAPS as an organization owned by the membership.
Right.
And so this would be a win-win for NAPS and the branches. Recruit members, keep us financially accountable on the budget, and not overspend. And again, one other thing, I know I'm running out of time, but the national president has to know everything about the organization.
Right.
I know the internal operations, the infrastructure. I know the finances. I wasn't the executive VP, but I've was in since LTS since 1996.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've gone to, you know, was there for COVID, the challenges. But the also thing was I was there for the legislative side. I've advocated for members. I have a good working relationship with the post office, Megan, DeJoy. I don't know the new PMG, but this is what I tell people. We're a multi-million-dollar organization where we need serious NAPS leadership.
Right.
I know the other delegates, candidates will say they'll be ready on day one. And I'm glad to hear that. But Robert, with me on day one, I already experienced president.
Sure.
I'm not ready. I'm already experienced on day one.
Exactly.
So the time is right. Let's write a new chapter in NAPS history. Bring me back for a third term because I'm ready, willing, and able to serve with the support of my family. I'm asking for everybody's support and vote at the National Convention in San Francisco on August 14th. And again, I kind of look at it this way. When you look at my leadership, it's experience you can trust for leadership for what's next. Robert, I appreciate the time. And I'm in
Go ahead.
And I'm in Georgia, so you're probably gonna say, "What's the ice cream flavor?"
I'm going to
today?
ask you
But
that. Yeah, I'm going to ask you that.
Peaches and cream.
Imagine that.
Not peaches and herb, but peaches and cream.
Peaches and cream. Brian, it was a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. Good luck in the election, and we will see you in August at the National Convention.
Thank you, Robert. You have a good day.
You
Appreciate
too.
it.
Bye-bye.
And love being on the podcast.
Thanks so
Take
much,
care.
buddy.
Bye.
It's never too early to start a financial adventure. This summer, we're helping our youngest members reach for the stars with a special boost to their savings. Open a new youth savings account with us and watch how fast your money grows. As a bonus, we will add $25 to your child's youth savings account when it's opened and enter them into a drawing for a chance to win a new iPad. The Nashville Post Office Credit Union, people helping people since 1925. And for our second cup today, we've been talking about obscure holidays all summer long, and this week will be no different from that. Let's see. Today's July the 25th, so it's National Chili Dog Day. It's a great day to celebrate. Tomorrow, the 26th, would be Aunt and Uncle Day. I think that's a fabulous day. But July 27th, it's Take Your Houseplants for a Walk Day. Oh, I got to open that one up. Let's see what that says. That's crazy. Hold on. Okay, so here are some ways that you can participate in Take Your Houseplants for a Walk Day. Are you ready? Here we go. It says take turns picking up your houseplants one or two at a time and going on a walk with them. If the plants and pot are too heavy, use a stroller. If you are tight for time and have several plants, you can use a wagon and put them all in it. And it says talk to your plants. Scientists say plant bonding has positive effects on the plant. Well, we're going to end right there because that's really fun. So take your houseplants on a walk on the 27th. Here we go. So that's going to do it for today's show. I want to thank Brian Wagner for being on the program at Caffeine and Candidates. It was great talking to him. He will be running for national president in a couple of weeks. So that's very, very exciting. Thank him for being on the show. And thank you for listening to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. And again, like and share, subscribe. We're on YouTube. That's right. You could go to YouTube and listen to this show. So if you're not listening there, you need to be. And you can leave comments there. I would love it if somebody would put their branch number and where they're from in the comments. All right. Show going a little long today, but that's okay. It was important. So thanks so much for listening. And remember, every great weekend starts with a great cup of Joe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. Please note that the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Robert Wakefield and do not necessarily reflect the views of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. We welcome your questions and comments, so send those to SaturdayCupOfJoe@gmail.com.